Don't say a word. If you speak, we're both dead." The little black girl's hand clamped tight across his mouth, her voice sharp, shaking. His eyes went wide. The billionaire's breath stopped cold. Outside the tinted glass of the Rolls-Royce, the Miami crowd buzzed, clueless. Flashbulbs popped. Valid smiled. Nobody saw what she saw. A figure in black was moving closer. Mask pulled tight, shoulders heavy, one hand sliding deep into his pocket, and in that split second, the Arab billionaire, a man feared across South Beach, sat frozen, powerless under the command of a child, because whatever she knew, whatever she had seen, was about to tear his world apart, and that's when everything unraveled. Miami, Ocean Drive. The Strip is alive, Lamborghinis revving, neon signs buzzing, champagne spraying across balconies. Crowds gather at the curb. Some point, some record, they know his face. Khalid al-Rashid, billionaire, power broker. The man who owns half the skyline along South Beach. "That's him. That's the guy," a man whispers, phone raised. "What's he doing here without his bodyguards?" another mutters. But inside that Rolls-Royce, the story is different. In the middle of all that luxury, quilted leather seats, gold trim on the door handles, sits a little black girl. Her sneakers are scuffed, her backpack is taped at the corners, her hand is still pressed across his mouth. And her eyes? They don't budge from the window. "Quiet," she breathes. "He's still out there." The billionaire shifts, muffled under her grip. Do you even know who I am?" he tries to mumble. She presses harder. "I don't care who you are. If you talk, he'll hear you." From the curb outside, laughter breaks through. "Yo, that's a Rolls-Royce ghost." "Nah, that's a phantom. Look at the grill." Clueless. They're just excited to see money parked at their feet. But inside that car, money doesn't matter, status doesn't matter, fear does. The billionaire finally tears her hand loose, his voice low, angry. "Why are you in my car? Who put you here?" Her reply is sharper, colder. "Ask less questions, watch more closely. He's not walking past, he's waiting." The crowd outside keeps snapping photos, thinking this is just another celebrity sighting on South Beach. But in the back seat, the tension thickens. He looks down at her shoes, then at his own polished cufflinks. "You don't belong here," he mutters. Her eyes don't leave the window. "Neither do you." For the first time in his life, the Arab billionaire, untouchable in boardrooms, unchallenged on Wall Street, sits trapped in silence, beside a child who refuses to be intimidated. And just beyond the glass, that masked figure takes another step closer. But how did she even end up in his car? "You still haven't told me who you are," the billionaire says, his voice clipped, every word laced with authority he's used to having obeyed. The girl doesn't move her eyes from the side mirror. "You don't need my name," she whispers back. "I need to know why you're in my car," he shoots. Her small hand tightens on the backpack strap. "You will. But first, you need to understand why you're sitting here. Scared." He lets out a dry laugh. "Scared? You think this shakes me? I've been threatened in LA backrooms where deals turn to blackmail overnight. I've been extorted in London by men who call themselves gentlemen but act like wolves. I've walked through Wall Street hearings that would break senators. You think a child in worn sneakers can rattle me?" She finally turns her head, her eyes steady on his. "LA backrooms? London suits? Wall Street hearings? That's business games. Try Southside Chicago. You ever been there?" Silence fills the car. "Didn't think so," she says. "That's where I'm from. You don't hear champagne corks out there. You hear sirens. You hear gunshots before you hear the school bell. My mom works overnights at a nursing home just to keep our lights on. You know how many nights she eats cereal so I can eat dinner?" He shifts against the leather, uncomfortable. "That's not my problem," he mutters. Her voice hardens. "It is now." He scoffs. "Do you even know who I am?" This time she smirks. "Everybody in this city knows who you are. Khalid al-Rashid, Arab billionaire, the man who brags about buying up hotels from Miami to Dubai. Forbes calls you ruthless with vision. CNBC calls you a genius. Politicians call you friend." From outside the car, spring breakers chant down the street, 305, 305. The billionaire's jaw tightens. She goes on sharper. "They talk about your jets, your yachts, your Manhattan penthouse. They don't talk about the neighborhoods you gut. They don't talk about the families forced out when your companies buy up entire blocks in Detroit. Or the seniors in Atlanta who can't afford rent after you jack prices to market rate." He cuts in, angry now. "That's business. Don't act like you understand mergers and property law. Law? She snaps. Law didn't save my dad. He worked 2 jobs, walked home one night and never came back. Wrong place, wrong time. A stray bullet. Do you know what it feels like to bury your father at 10 years old, Mr. Al-Rashid? The driver's grip tightens on the wheel. The billionaire doesn't answer. Nothing to say? She asks. Didn't think so. His voice drops. You're a child. You can't possibly understand how this world works. No, she fires back. I understand better than you. You hide behind contracts and lawyers. I hide behind nothing. You measure wealth by square footage. I measure it by whether my mom survives another double shift. Don't tell me I don't understand. He leans closer, his tone quieter, almost uncertain. Then why me? Why sit in my car? She inches forward, her words sharp enough to cut. Because the world kneels when you show up. Reporters hang on your every word. Governors text you like your family. To you, I'm disposable, forgettable, just a kid you'll never remember. And that's exactly why you'll never see me coming. He freezes at that. Never see you coming? Her eyes narrow. You still don't get it. I didn't end up in this car by accident. The driver whispers, low, barely audible. Then why are you here? The girl's hand presses against the backpack like it's her heartbeat. Because what's inside this bag is bigger than you, bigger than your hotels, bigger than your money, and the world deserves to see it. The billionaire studies her for a long moment, searching her face for weakness. So what are you? He asks. A spy? A setup? Some activist? Someone paid to embarrass me? She looks him dead in the eye. I'm a message you don't want to ignore. The car rolls past another strip of neon. Outside, a group of tourists shouts for selfies with the rolls, laughing like it's all just another Miami night. But inside, tension coils tighter. The billionaire's voice drops to a whisper. You don't belong in this world. Her reply comes just as low. Neither do you, but here we are. She leans back into the seat, her gaze locked on the masked figure still pacing them outside. And remember this, Mr. Al-Rashid, I wasn't in your car by accident. The car creeps forward under the glow of Ocean Drive. Outside, laughter and music drown the night. Inside, silence carries more weight than all the noise. The billionaire mutters low, almost to himself. Little girl, you don't tell me what to do. People like you. He stops, the words hanging heavy. Her eyes stay locked on him. People like me, what? He shifts in the leather seat, avoiding her stare. Forget it. But the sting lingers. From the sidewalk, a valet leans toward another worker, whispering, she better shut her mouth before she disappears. You don't talk to men like him like that. Phones are out now. A couple of tourists raise theirs, recording through the tinted glass. They can't hear a word, but they see the tension. The billionaire notices. His voice sharpens. You're embarrassing me. Do you understand? People are watching. Put your hand down and act normal. She doesn't budge. Normal? What's normal about a man with a mask pacing us? He shakes his head. You exaggerate. This is South Beach. There are performers in masks every night. It's nothing. Her voice cuts sharper. He's not performing. He's waiting. You know it. I know it. The driver finally whispers, uneasy. Sir, maybe she's right. He's been trailing us since the last light. The billionaire snaps at him. You drive. Don't comment. The girl smirks, but it's cold. That's how it works, huh? Money on your tongue, silence for everyone else. He snaps back. You have no idea how much power sits in this seat. No, she says, I know exactly how much power. Enough to raise hotel prices so kids in Atlanta sleep in cars when their parents can't keep up. Enough to bulldoze homes in Detroit because you saw opportunity. That's the kind of power you mean? He glares. That's business. That's how the world turns. Her tone sharpens like a knife. Then maybe the world's been turning the wrong way. The crowd outside keeps filming, murmuring. What's happening in there? Looks like she's holding him hostage. Nah, if that was real, he'd have cops here already. Cops don't always come when kids call, another voice says. The billionaire turns back to her, teeth gritted. You're out of line. You don't get to lecture me. She leans forward, every word deliberate. I'm not lecturing. I'm warning. You built towers on people's backs, and you think nobody remembers, but some of us remember everything. His fists tighten. Enough. No, she says. Not yet. He exhales hard, trying to steady himself. You're a child. I could buy your entire block with the cash in my watch. Her laugh is bitter. Funny, you think that makes you powerful. But in my block, power isn't a watch. It's who shows up when the lights go out. And trust me, Mr. Al-Rashid, Nobody ever saw you there. Outside, another whisper floats from the sidewalk. Man, why is she talking like that to him? Because maybe she knows something we don't. The billionaire leans closer, his voice low, dangerous. Say one more word, and I'll... She cuts him, her voice louder now, sharp enough to cut through the crowd noise. And what? Fire me? Threaten me? Pay me off like you do everyone else? You think silence is for sale? The tourists outside gasp. Phones zoom closer on the tinted glass. They can't hear the words, but they feel the fire. The billionaire tries again, but his words tangle. You don't understand who you're dealing with. I make cities move. Politicians. She interrupts again. Then hear me when I say this. You can buy votes, you can buy judges, you can even buy headlines, but you'll never buy me. Not tonight. Not ever. The driver looks back in the mirror, uneasy. Sir, she's not bluffing. The billionaire slams his palm against the seat. Enough. You don't get to decide when I speak. You're nothing. Her hand rises again, pressing firm against his mouth. Her eyes harden, voice steady, final. Say it again. I dare you. For the first time, he doesn't. And then she leans closer, her words barely audible but sharp enough to cut through him and every watching phone outside. You call me nothing one more time, and the world will know everything you've been hiding. And then, she said words that shook him to the core. The silence breaks. The billionaire's voice shoots through the car like a whip. Driver, get her out of here before I call the cops. The driver hesitates, knuckles frozen on the wheel. Sir? Now, Khalid roars. Do you hear me? Get her out. The girl finally drops her hand from his mouth. Her voice cuts sharp, every syllable deliberate. Call them. Go ahead. I got proof you pay them to look away. The car freezes with those words. The billionaire's eyes narrow, his face hardens. What did you just say? She doesn't hesitate. You heard me. You don't fear cops. You own them. You buy silence like you buy property. But tonight, they don't cover you. The driver's voice trembles, almost a whisper. She's saying it out loud, sir, in front of everybody. From the sidewalk, voices rise. Yo, she just said something. What did she say? I don't know, but record it. Record everything. Phones lift higher. Camera flashes explode against the tinted glass. The billionaire leans forward, jaw tight, whisper sharp. You don't know what you're talking about. She meets his stare, unflinching. Oh, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Detroit, Atlanta, Miami. Same story every time. Families get evicted, cops show up, and you pretend you're not involved. Except I've got names, dates, papers, all of it. He slams his fist into the armrest. Driver, I said get her out. The driver finally speaks louder. Sir, if I move now, half of Ocean Drive will see this girl dragged out of your car. You want that on TMZ tomorrow morning? The billionaire stiffens. His chest heaves once, twice. Outside, a tourist yells, something's going down in that Rolls. Get closer, another says. The masked man outside takes 2 slow steps nearer. His hand slides deeper into his pocket. The girl lowers her voice, steady as steel. You can throw me out, but the second I hit that pavement, I yell. And when I yell, every camera out there hears it. You ready for that headline, Mr. Al-Rashid? He stares at her, calculating. His lips part, but no words come out. The driver swallows hard. Sir? She's right. The crowd's waiting. One move and it's over. The billionaire finally explodes. You think you can trap me? You think some little girl from Chicago can take down Khalid al-Rashid? Her reply is a dagger. No. Not some little girl. The truth. The truth is what takes you down. From outside the car, someone shouts. He looks pissed. What's she saying to him? Yo, this is about to go viral. The billionaire shakes his head, trying to regain ground. You don't scare me. You don't even matter. She leans close, her whisper cutting sharper than any scream. Then why are you sweating? The driver glances at the side mirror. Sir, the masked guy, he's closer. The billionaire's voice cracks for the first time. What do you want from me? Her hand slides to the backpack on her lap. She taps it once, slow. Not money. Not a deal. Not a seat at your table. I want the world to see what you've been hiding. The billionaire's eyes dart to the backpack, then to her face. What's in there? She lifts the zipper halfway, the sound loud in the silence. Proof. Outside, the crowd presses closer to the curb, dozens of phones raised. The hum of Miami's nightlife feels like it pauses, just for this moment. The billionaire's voice drops low, urgent. You don't want to do this. You'll ruin lives, yours included. She tilts her head. Already ruined mine when you took our block. This is just me evening the score. He leans forward, a hiss between his teeth. Put that bag away. She shakes her head. Too late. The world's about to see who you really are. And then, without another word, she pulls the zipper all the way down. The crowd outside gasps. The billionaire freezes, because what Maya pulled from her backpack changed everything. The zipper finishes its run, the sound sharp as a blade in the air. The billionaire's chest tightens. His voice drops. What is that? Her hands move slow, deliberate. She pulls out a stack of papers, folded but crisp, then a small silver flash drive taped to the cover. These, she says, are your deals. The ones you signed in Detroit, the ones that forced kids out of homes so your investors could flip them. He shakes his head hard. You don't even understand what's in those. Contracts, partnerships, evictions, she cuts him. Deals you made in Atlanta where families lost apartments overnight. You know how many kids slept in cars while you toasted champagne at the Fontainebleau? The driver shifts uneasily. Sir, she's saying specifics. She's not making this up. The billionaire glares. You think some papers scare me? These won't hold up anywhere. Her voice rises just enough for the crowd outside to hear through the cracked glass. Then why do they have your signature? Gasps ripple through the people pressed against the curb. Phones tilt higher. From the sidewalk, a man shouts, Wait, I know her. Isn't that Maya Johnson, the girl from Chicago? Another voice joins. She's the kid going to D.C. next week, testifying about housing scams. The billionaire freezes. What did they just say? The crowd buzzes louder, the sound turning heavy. Reporters who had been sipping drinks nearby shove forward, cameras raised, microphones outstretched. Is this true, Maya Johnson? Are you testifying before Congress? The girl keeps her eyes on him. You didn't expect me here tonight, did you? You thought I'd wait for the courtroom. You thought I'd wait for lawyers. No, I wanted you to see me first. He leans closer, whispering sharp. You don't know the fire you're playing with. I know exactly what I'm playing with, she shoots back. I'm playing with your empire, and it's already crumbling. The driver's voice cracks under the tension. Sir, what do we do? The billionaire snarls, voice low. Stay quiet. Cameras won't see everything. We control the narrative tomorrow. The girl laughs under her breath. Control? You can't control this. They're live streaming right now. By morning, half the country will know your name for the wrong reason. From outside, shouts echo. Post it on TikTok. Tag CNN, tag Vice. Get the sound, get the sound. The billionaire grabs her wrist, desperate. Give me those papers. She doesn't pull away. She leans closer, voice razor sharp. Touch them, and the world will know why you're desperate. His hand drops. His face twists. The crowd chants now louder, feeding the tension. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? She lifts the flash drive high, letting the light catch it. Everything. The contracts, the emails, the bank transfers, proof that Khalid al-Rashid built his empire on broken families. The billionaire's lips move, but the words stumble. You don't know what you've done. Her eyes don't leave his. I know exactly what I've done. I've given people a reason not to be afraid of you anymore. The driver swallows hard. Sir, we can't stay here. Too many cameras, too many witnesses. The billionaire sits frozen, sweat dripping down his temple. For the first time, he has no command, no leverage. And then, just as the noise outside hits its peak, a new voice cuts through the chaos. Mr. Al-Rashid. It's calm, cold, steady, not hers, not the driver's. The billionaire turns slowly toward the sound. Because the biggest blow that night wasn't from the girl's papers. It came from someone standing right behind him. The voice cuts through the chaos. Mr. Al-Rashid. The billionaire jerks his head toward the sound. The masked man at the window is no longer just a shadow. He pulls a leather wallet from his pocket, flips it open, and presses it against the glass. A badge. The driver gasps. Sir, that's federal. The billionaire stares, stunned. You've got to be kidding me. The girl leans forward, calm as ever. Told you he wasn't here for me, he was here for you. The crowd outside surges, phones lifting higher. What is that? Wait, he's FBI. No way. Record it. Record everything. The billionaire's voice cracks, desperate now. You set me up. Maya shakes her head. You set yourself up. I just carried the proof. The driver whispers urgently. Sir, everyone's watching. This is all over social right now. Twitter, TikTok. Everybody's posting. And they are. Across Ocean Drive, neon lights reflect off dozens of raised screens. Live streams pour onto feeds faster than headlines can keep up. The billionaire tries to laugh, but it comes out hollow. This is a circus. None of this holds up in court. The FBI agent's voice is steady. Court's not your only problem tonight. The crowd gasps again. Reporters shove forward, shouting questions. Mr. Al-Rashid, are you under investigation? Is it true your company's facing hearings in D.C.? Are you paying off law enforcement in Miami? The billionaire's face burns red. This is harassment. I own half the skyline here. You think I'll go down because some kid waves papers at a camera? Maya's voice slices through his rant. No, Khalid, you'll go down because your signature is on every page. The driver closes his eyes, whispering low. Sir, investors are watching this live. You're done. Outside, the chants start. Post it! Post it! Post it! A college kid in a Heat jersey yells, she's 9 years old and she's got him cornered. Another shouts, put that on TikTok right now. This is history. The billionaire pounds the door with his fist. Enough. All of you, enough. But his voice only feeds the crowd louder. Phones shake with excitement. Hashtags spread in real time. Miami billionaire, truth over power, Maya Johnson. The girl's voice stays calm, steady. You hear that? They know my name. They know your crimes. Tonight, you lost control. The FBI agent finally steps closer to the door. We'll take it from here. The billionaire snarls, desperate. You don't scare me. Politicians owe me. Governors owe me. The White House knows my name. The girl tilts her head. Funny. After tonight, they'll all pretend they never met you. And she's right. Already, phones buzz in the crowd as push notifications fly. Senator distances himself from Miami billionaire. Al-Rashid's investors panic after viral video. The billionaire's face drains of color. His empire isn't collapsing tomorrow, it's collapsing now, in real time. Maya leans closer, whispering just loud enough for the driver to hear too. You called me nothing. Tonight, I turned nothing into the one thing you couldn't buy, truth. The driver exhales, a mix of relief and disbelief. Kid, you just made history. The billionaire slams back against the seat, powerless. The crowd's roar crashing through the glass. Miami will forget this by morning, he shouts. But outside, a teenager yells into his phone camera. No, sir, the whole country's watching. And he's right. By sunrise, clips spread across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Headlines roll in from CNN, Vice, the Miami Herald. 9-year-old outsmarts billionaire in Miami. Arab mogul cornered by child activist on Ocean Drive. Investors pull out. Politicians release statements. The empire Khalid al-Rashid built on fear and silence crumbles in hours. And in the middle of it all, Maya Johnson, calm and steady, becomes the face of truth over power. But her next step turned her into a national symbol. The fallout didn't take months. It started the very next day. Cable news replayed the Ocean Drive footage on a loop. Anchors leaned forward at their desks, voices hushed with disbelief. A child, 9 years old, standing up to Khalid al-Rashid in front of a crowd in Miami, one said on CNN. On MSNBC, another anchor added, this isn't just a viral video. This is accountability caught live. Clips hit TikTok with captions flying. David versus Goliath 2025. Maya Johnson is the voice we needed. And in Chicago, kids in her neighborhood huddled around cracked phones, whispering with pride, she's from here. She's one of us. If she can talk back to a billionaire, maybe we can too. Weeks later, Maya stood on a stage in Atlanta. No luxury gown, no stylist, just the same worn sneakers and a plain jacket zipped halfway. Behind her, banners read, Foundation for Families, Housing with Dignity. The crowd quieted as she stepped up to the microphone. She didn't start with thanks. She didn't start with titles. She started with truth. Respect isn't luxury, she said, her voice steady. It's basic. The room erupted. Reporters typed furiously, trying to keep up. Cameras flashed like lightning. A man in the back turned to his friend. She's 9 years old, and she's saying what Congress won't say out loud. By the time she walked off that stage, hashtags were trending again. Housing with Dignity, Maya Johnson, truth over power. In Oakland, middle schoolers scribbled her quotes on whiteboards. In Brooklyn, teachers replayed her speech during morning announcements. A group of high schoolers in Detroit painted her face on a mural. Bold letters underneath. Respect is basic. Commentators filled the Sunday shows with comparisons. Reminds me of Claudette Colvin in the 1950s. Just a kid, but brave enough to challenge power, one historian said. She's in the lineage of young activists who forced America to look at itself, another added. The billionaire? He tried to fight back, hired attorneys, bought ads, called it a smear campaign. But every denial only drove the clips higher in views. On YouTube, the Ocean Drive video passed 50 million in a week. On TikTok, remixes of Maya's line, "You can't buy me, not tonight, not ever," turned into soundtracks for protest videos across the country. And Maya? She didn't vanish into headlines. She grew. She showed up at city halls. She sat in living rooms with families in Newark who'd lost leases. She walked through blocks in Houston where evictions spiked after hurricanes. Everywhere she went, cameras followed. Not because she courted them, because people demanded it. At a rally in Los Angeles, someone shouted from the crowd, "Maya, what do we tell our kids?" She smiled, lifted the mic and said, "Tell them the system is big. Tell them money is loud. But remind them, truth is louder." The words traveled faster than any press release. By summer, her story was written into lesson plans. Elementary schools in Atlanta, Brooklyn, Oakland used her name as shorthand for courage. "Don't pull a stunt," one teacher said to her class. A student shot back, "It's not a stunt, it's a Maya." Laughter rippled, but the meaning stuck. The driver from that night in Miami gave one interview. He shook his head slowly, eyes damp. "I watched a billionaire fold under the weight of a little girl's voice. I've driven politicians, CEOs, celebrities. None of them made me feel what that kid did. None." And as for Maya, she didn't stop. In September, she stood in Washington, D.C., small figure at a big podium. Lawmakers whispered to each other as she adjusted the mic. She didn't look nervous. She didn't stall. She leaned forward and said, "You can write laws, you can pass bills, but if you don't hear us, if you don't see us, then you don't serve us. Respect isn't negotiable, it's human." Silence swept the chamber. Back in Chicago, her mom turned on the TV after another overnight shift. She sat in her kitchen, cereal bowl untouched, watching her daughter's face on every channel. Neighbors texted each other in awe. "That's Maya, our Maya. She carried us all the way to D.C. Maya Johnson, from a patched backpack in a Rolls-Royce on Ocean Drive to a national symbol of truth over power. And here's where you come in. The story didn't end on Ocean Drive. It didn't end in Atlanta. It didn't even end in Washington. Because stories like Maya's never really end. They echo. On TikTok, kids stitched her speech with their own. A boy in Oakland saying, "She spoke for me." A girl in Newark whispering, "That could have been my mom's eviction notice." A teacher in Houston writing on the board, "Respect is basic," while the class repeated it back. On Instagram, her quote turned into art. Murals in Detroit. Posters in Brooklyn. Painted sneakers in Chicago with her name across the side. And on YouTube, millions kept watching that Miami night, kept commenting, kept arguing, kept sharing. One user wrote, "Money built walls. She tore them down with one sentence." Another, "This isn't just a story about a billionaire. It's about every kid who's been told they don't matter." And now it comes to you. Because maybe you've been in a moment like this. Maybe not in a Rolls-Royce. Maybe not on Ocean Drive. But maybe in a classroom where someone said you weren't enough. Maybe at a job where your voice got ignored. Maybe in a courtroom, a boardroom, a grocery line, a bus stop, where someone with more money, more status, more volume tried to silence you. What did you do? What would you do? Here's your chance to speak. Drop your story in the comments. Tell us when someone underestimated you. Tell us what you said. Tell us what you wish you'd said. Because the truth is this: stories don't change the world by themselves. People do. People repeating them, sharing them, owning them. So if Maya's story hit you tonight, if it reminded you of a neighbor, a parent, a teacher, a time when you were the one in the back seat, then share this. Not for likes, not for numbers. Share it so the next kid with a patched-up backpack knows they aren't invisible. And before you leave, what's your take? Was Maya reckless? Brave? Both? Do you think a child can really shake the towers of money and power in this country? Comment below. I'm reading every single one. And if you believe that dignity matters more than dollars, subscribe. Because there are more stories like this. Stories of power being flipped upside down. Stories where the smallest voice becomes the loudest. Stories that prove over and over the world only changes when somebody dares to say, enough.